go. Daddy's back.
He's back. Oh, yes.
Don't call me Nymphadora.
Albus Percival Wulfric Brown. Dumbledore's got style.
You're just as sane as I am.
I was not televised.
Get away from my concert.
I've always felt our futures lay outside the world of academic achievement.
Just because you've got the emotional range of a teaspoon.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for listening to Retold, the podcast where I retell you my favorite story of all time, Harry Potter. That's right. They're holding up the book, audio listeners. You didn't see it. Every single week, I go through the Harry Potter books 2 chapters at a time, recapping what happens, talking about my favorite lines, lore, behind-the-scenes things, getting into movie differences, and we also play Harry Potter trivia. But I never do this journey alone. I always have with me some very special guests. And with me this week, I am joined by Jonathan and Emily. Hi, guys.
Hi, Barry.
They got it down. They've been here long enough. This week is a Founders episode, kind of. We've done a lot of, mostly just the Founders these first few episodes. Listeners, it's not because I can't get other guests. They are just in the second half of the season, and I promise. But even still, I love getting to record with you guys. You're my favorite ones to do this with. So thank you again for making the time. Many weeks, almost in a row sometimes. I appreciate it so much. But yeah, welcome back to the pod. I don't have much of a cold open. I have a few things I wanted to mention. I will say I've been a little, listen, I am so deeply in love with Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter so much. I'm doing a podcast about it.
Sounds like there's a but.
There's a big but. My attentions, I will say, just as a little opener topic, my love has been drawn a little bit away. This year, my wife introduced me to romance anime.
That's awesome.
I have been so obsessed. There was one anime that I had the day off. Bailey was at work. I watched 17 episodes of this anime.
They're short though, right? They're like 30 minutes.
Yeah, a little less than
that's still
that.
a lot.
It was magical. And then I caught up to the end of season 1, which was 24 episodes. That got to chapter 80 of the manga. There's 250 chapters. I finished it in 3 days. I was obsessed. There was one night we're laying in bed. It's 10 o'clock. I said, I can't handle this. I'm going downstairs and I'm going to read this till it's over. At 1:30 in the morning, I finally went to bed. My eyes were hurting, but I was just kicking my feet. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, well, you need to plug it. What was it?
Blue Box.
Okay.
Blue Box. Have you seen it?
No.
You need to, listeners.
Okay.
It's so good. I always feel weird talking about how much I love a high school romance anime, but it is so good. It makes me so happy. It perfectly depicts what a young boy goes through. It was wonderful. So it's been a long time since I was that addicted, obsessed with something, wanting to finish it. And I was pretty psyched about that. Are you guys watching anything right now? Reading anything? Besides from Harry Potter, of course.
Only Harry Potter.
Strictly Harry Potter. We run a strict program. Nothing really. I've been kind of meh. On watching stuff. And
You saw the new Spider-Man.
I did see the new Spider-Man. It was excellent. I thought it was very good. I had a good time.
Good. Happy. I've heard mostly positive reviews. A lot of it. The only negative I would hear from very critical people who go, yeah, it was good enough for the hype, I guess. That's kind of how
they always say that.
Yeah, it was good enough.
They
I mean,
always say
the
that.
Spider-Man movies are usually a hole-in-one. They're always great. So, Jonathan?
Most of my mental effort has been put into writing. I'm writing a short story.
That's right. Tell us more about that.
More about that. It's just a short story. I had a dream that I was given an assignment to write a short story that was actually inspired by a conversation that I had with Barry's wife about her writing. And then I was like, well, I started writing. And so that's what I've been doing with my spare
Fantastic.
time, other than
Nice.
taking care of a baby.
Or how much how much do you think you were able to write a day? Would you say?
Ooh, I don't know because
Some days you're able to, some days you're not.
Well, and it's not even like how much am I able to write, because the vast majority of what I'm doing is staring at like the same sentence and trying to make it better.
Yeah.
Or so it's hard to put a quantity, but I'm up to like, what am I, like 3,000 words now? Something.
You know,
Who knows?
that's a sentence that Bailey would appreciate. She wrote her novel and now she's in the process of editing it. And she would often tell me, I got this many words done a day. I got this many words done a day. And I'm ashamed to say my response was always, how much of a Harry Potter chapter is that? Because like we looked up the average length of a Harry Potter chapter and she would go,
how many chapters are we talking about in Harry Potter?
That's like when I was growing up, when my family would take road trips, that my mom would say, we are this many episodes of SpongeBob.
Oh my gosh. It's like a universal thing, I swear. That's hilarious.
So do you know how many chapters that is? Or what the average chapter?
I don't recall at the moment.
Okay.
So to me, it's like 20 pages.
I feel like the
I don't know
average
what
chapter
word
is
count that
like
is.
4,000 to 6,000 words. For
We can
maybe like
look it
smaller-
up right now.
We could do that.
I think I'm going to guess 7,000 because I have no
Per-
concept
Per what?
per chapter.
Per chapter.
But it does vary on the books, so
Yeah.
don't worry,
Yeah.
listeners. I'll edit this, and you will hear the answer right here. 5,500 words is the average amount. Roughly 20 pages. I did get that part right. Good job, me. Anyway, very good. Thank you for sharing that, you guys. Now, we're not here to talk about us, even though that's what I do most of the time. We're talking about Harry Potter chapters 11 and 12 of the Order of the Phoenix. Now, listeners have heard you guys talk about your houses. You're both Gryffindors.
They probably haven't, honestly.
At
How
this
many
point-
listeners do you think actually watched episodes 1 and 2?
Actually, most.
Don't
probably.
kid with
Really?
me. Those are the two most popular episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are both over,
Hey,
like,
let's go.
yeah, like the people.
Ooh.
I mean, because that's what people will do. Is
Yeah,
they will-
they'll get interested and then start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So those are. It's really funny. It's like
Popular.
episode 1, episode 2 have crazy amounts of downloads compared to everything else, and then there's a bit of a drop.
Really?
So they heard Jonathan. And they were like,
They were like,
Ah.
No, never mind.
no.
This is the quality of people on this show.
That Emily, we liked her. episode. Chapters 11 and 12, though. So the thing I wanted to open up with, I was talking to our patron Zach. Shout out Zach.
Hey, Zach.
And he, Jonathan's also a patron, so we love Jonathan. Thank you very much.
We love me.
You said I could have it for free.
Yeah, I told Jonathan too. I'm gonna email it to you, buddy. I promise. And he suggested that we do a this or that segment on the pod, which I thought
I
that
love
could be
that.
fun. Yeah, like
Yeah.
this or that, or otherwise known as Would You Rather.
Would you rather?
So I have one that's related to these 2 chapters, and just 2 other random ones. And if they stink, I will edit this all out. And if they're worth anything, I'll keep it in. So the first one, would you rather go, and we're going to play with this one a little bit, go to potions class with Snape or defense against the dark arts with Dolores?
Mm.
For me, it's potions with Snape.
I think
100%.
it's potions with Snape for me as well.
I agree.
Now, here's what I wanted to play with, because obviously Umbridge sucks.
Yeah.
We dislike her, at least with like Snape knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, but here's the thing I wanted to play with. How many years could you like use to unbalance the scale? So it's like 2 years worth of potions with Snape versus 1 year of Umbridge, 3 years of potions with Snape versus 1 year with Umbridge. Is there a point at which it becomes not worth
Well,
it
here's the thing.
through
that
7 years?
I'm wondering, am I Harry? Am I Neville?
Am I the victim?
Am I some random person?
You are both
who-
Gryffindors.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I feel like even if you're both Gryffindors, if you're not Harry, you're not Neville, you might get picked on. It might not be pleasant, but I feel like Snape, for all of his very aggressive badness,
Mm-hmm.
is actually very well knowledgeable. And if I'm going to go to school, I'd rather be learning something than sitting silently in a classroom learning books about something.
That's fair.
Or just reading books that I could read on my own. That
Yeah.
are probably going to tell me nothing that I want to know.
And he
Yes.
usually only like messes with the trio and Neville.
Yeah.
So it's not like.
So if I'm not one of them,
You're
I'm off
good.
the hook.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You just keep your head down. You do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. I feel the
Be pretty
same.
chill.
It's like, because I would rather sit through a class of like hands-on activity, which is what potions is most of the time, than like sit and read a book for days on end and just be watched.
It's a
like-
good thing this is a reread podcast.
Yeah, I don't want to
You
be
know,
caught
like-
dead reading.
But
the
this is like reading for fun,
Yeah.
and this is like, oh, read the textbook.
Mhm.
When have you ever learned from actually reading the textbook? It's not how I learn. I need to learn by doing.
Yeah, I usually in college, I hardly learned from the textbook. I would learn from the YouTube videos. I would
Yeah,
look up on
exactly.
YouTube what I needed to learn.
Like people talking about it
Mhm.
and stuff.
Okay, so here's your other one. Would you rather lose all the bones in your arm
No.
for one night, just like Harry?
Mhm.
Okay.
So you get Harry's
You
injury.
had to regrow it.
Yeah. Or be turned into a cat for a month, like Hermione. Like you're not an
okay,
actual
okay,
cat,
okay.
but like you grow the fur and the ears and the tail, so you are human form cat features.
I would rather lose the bones in my arm for one night.
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
Why would I want to be a cat?
You're Catwoman. you
I
know?
like cats, but like she had to be like in the hospital wing for like a month, and she's just like sitting in there, can't do anything.
You
can't
have
go
a
to
tail
class.
though.
Yeah, I don't know if that'd be that fun.
Listeners, I had it over here where it's off screen, but the tail then came in. That's a tail. You can tell.
Yeah, that was the problem. The problem was that it was off screen.
Jonathan, your answer?
I'm with Emily. I'm not being a cat for a month. Just being isolated in the hospital wing for so long. Also, I don't want a tail.
Yeah.
I'm fine without it.
Thank
Hacking up
you.
fur balls. I think.
I'll take the pain for a night.
I'm curious. So, what about this then? One night with the arm, or one night as the cat cat person?
Maybe cat, because I felt like the arm was still painful. I don't know if the cat was painful though.
She did cough up fur balls.
That's pretty
Yeah,
nasty.
that part was like, but I kind of feel like you're like, it's like a purge. You're like getting all the nasty stuff out.
It would be fun to flip your arm back a lot, like what he
That
did.
would be kind of
You
fun.
know, oh, a little noodle everywhere.
Mm.
All right, last one for the episode. Would you rather spend 1 hour with nearly headless Nick, but he's moping around about, not having his head completely taken off, or 1 hour with moaning Myrtle while you attempt to make a potion in her bath?
Am I attempting to make a potion in both scenarios?
No, one is attempting to make a potion with Myrtle, and the other is eating, like what they did. They were
Okay.
eating with nearly headless Nick right
Uh-huh.
there, and he's like, "I used to eat,"
Mm.
I'll take nearly headless Nick.
I feel like I could have some girl time with Moaning Myrtle.
She would make it all about herself, though.
You know what? I'm not opposed to that. I just feel like if I listen really well, she'll just keep going, and I can be like, yes, girl, like, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, like, I'm so sad for you, like, that sucks. I don't know. Maybe she'd be my friend.
Maybe.
And then later on, like with Harry, she'd give me information I needed.
What information do you want about Harry?
No, like I'm saying, like Harry.
Oh, if you are Harry,
Oh, I
okay.
thought you
Yeah,
were like,
like
maybe this will give me
how-
the in with
Ooh.
Harry.
Harry had
Okay,
like
Emily.
an advantage because he had kind of been nicer
Mhm.
to Myrtle.
That's true.
So.
Go away. All right. What was your reasoning?
Well, I feel like Nearly Headless Nick has got some stories to tell. And as long as you just have a bit of tact, unlike Ron, you could hear them. And that could be a very interesting hour of conversation as long as you're not like, hey, you don't got blood. What are you using that saying for?
Yeah.
Or smacking down all your food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I sided with Nick too for the same reason of I'd want to hear the stories. If I were to go with Myrtle, it'd be for the humor aspect because it's a lot of fun. But very good. That's our this or that segment for this week. We'll see if we kept any of that when I re-listen to it later. But I liked it. Very good, except for when my dog barked. Now, moving on to the next one, just before Quizzitch, is my jokes. So I looked at our Harry
Oh.
Potter joke books, the unofficial Harry Potter joke books.
Oh, those ones.
And I, yeah, those
Can
ones,
they be called jokes?
some of them.
Yes.
I searched through and I found 3 that I liked. So one of them, I'm remembering off my head because it was too long to write, but it was like, why is it that the teachers struggled with Padma and Pravarti Patil to teach them? Because they couldn't tell which was which.
That's actually what I was going to
Which
say.
was which?
Wait, which was which? Oh,
Which was which.
Oh.
Okay, that's decent.
Boo.
That's got some.
I like it. I like it. Good job.
Which
Okay.
which?
That's what I love that place, and it's gone now. At least I don't know any of around here. They got replaced by Chicken Salad Chick. Ugh. Next question. Other joke. Hey, don't look at the questions for quizzes.
I can't read your handwriting,
That's
so you're good.
fair enough.
I would also like to say that was relatively short joke.
It was a joke or a short joke.
And you know what I'm saying? That was too long to write down.
No, I boiled it down. And look, if you notice in my notes, I only give them one line because I came back and wrote them in later. All right. Your next one. Shut up, Jonathan. Emily, this is for you. This is a joke.
Oh, I
So,
didn't
Jonathan,
know.
you're not allowed to laugh.
Okay.
Which house throws the best parties?
I don't know who. Which?
Ravenclaw. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. It's Jonathan, you get it?
I'm not allowed to laugh.
Final joke. Why is Luna Lovegood frick?
Because she loves
No,
so
stop it,
good.
stop it. No, it's a joke. It was why is Luna such a good friend? Because Luna Lovegood. Anyway, every single episode, listeners, we play a game called Quizzitch, where I like to challenge my guests to see who knows more about the Harry Potter books, me or the world. The guests represent the world. I represent myself. Do this every single season. Scores 2-2 overall. I won book 1 and 4. Guests, the world won books 2 and 3. Right now, as it stands, as we're keeping track through this season, the score is 9.5 to 9. I'm ahead by half a point.
Half point.
Yes, 9.5 to 9. So it's anybody's ball game at the moment. All right, we're still on pretty close footing. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to ask them 2 questions apiece based on content of the chapter. They will ask me 2 questions, and we'll see who got more right and update the score at the end. So, Emily, ask me your first question.
Wait, hold on. Okay. Let's do this.
Shout out Emily's Tales of Beetle the Bard little ebook cover. Love that. Yep.
Etsy. Okay.
Support artists.
What was the password to the Gryffindor common room?
Mimbulus Mimbletonia.
That is correct.
Ding, 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 ding. All right, Emily, your question. You had to know this was going to be one of them. What house was Zeller Rose sorted into? There's only 2 students sorted. What house was Zeller Rose sorted into?
I wish I had been paying attention when I was reading that part. I literally was like, maybe, and then I was like, keep reading. I'm gonna say, oh my gosh, it's between 2 in my head.
Which 2? Please say
It's
both of them.
between Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff.
One of those is correct. So I was really hoping neither would be right, and then I could just giggle.
I think it's Ravenclaw.
That is incorrect.
Dang it!
It's Hufflepuff, baby.
That's what I would have thought too. I didn't have that one.
They just never talk about Hufflepuffs, so it was
What are you
like-
talking about? Last book, the champion was a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of
We
only
saw
2
what happened.
Oh, he was a spare.
Killed this
Zach, Jonathan, what's your first question? I know who you are.
Do you know?
You could do the audiobook.
Okay, let's see. What do I want to give you?
Give it to me.
What was Ron's potion doing when at the end of the class when they were about to, right before Snape gets rid of Harry's.
I know what Harry's and Neville's were doing. Ron's was it? It was brown and sparking.
They were green sparks.
That's it. I won't take a half point. I'll be incorrect, Barry, on this one. Incorrect, Barry. I debated taking my half point. But
It's like one of those words is right.
I was like, man, So here, I should have gone with my first instinct. I was just going to say sparking, and I was like, I would have gotten the point for sure if I just said sparking. But I wanted to include a color because if it wasn't sparking, perhaps the color would be what it was. So I overshot. All right, your question, Jonathan. What house was Abercrombie Ewan sorted into? Or Ewan Abercrombie? Ewan Abercrombie sorted into?
I believe it's Gryffindor.
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding. Those are now the two students off the board. All right, so 1-1. Pretty good so far. Emily, what's your next question?
What homework did Snape assign?
Biscuits. Okay. It was, okay. I'm going to take this in chunks. And so I'm going to say what the amount of homework was and then the subject. Was it 2 feet of parchment? Was that, do you not have that?
Do you want to say both answers and I'll tell you which one was correct?
Okay, 2 feet of parchment. And then the subject was on moonstones.
Okay, so you got half right.
Half point.
12 inches of parchment, which if it was like 24 inches and then you said 2 feet, I would have been like, okay, but you didn't get that right. And then it was on the properties of Moonstone. So half point.
Half point, Barry!
Yay!
Okay, Emily, your question. Thank you. You're so kind. Can you give me the day and time of keeper tryouts?
Saturday at 7 a.m.
Both of those are wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I was guessing.
Jonathan, do you know the answer?
I feel like it's maybe Thursday at 6 p.m.
You guys kept inching closer. It's Friday at 5 p.m.
What?
So, incorrect. Jonathan, your question.
Okay, that was a pretty
You thought it was a difficult one?
dirty question.
That was a dirty question?
I agree.
After I got what was Snape's homework?
That was easy.
Yeah.
And I gave you the softballs of the two kids and what house they were sorted into?
Let's see. How about...
I don't even care. You give me a hardball. I don't care. I don't care.
You don't even care?
I'm a Potter expert.
You don't even care?
Potter expert.
Who wrote Defensive Magical Theory?
What's upsetting is he was a golden snitch last week.
No.
So I've said his name probably 30 times in the past week and listened to myself say it. Oh, I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Wilbert Slinkhard.
Wilbert Slinkhard. His sister was in the Slug Club.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't get me anything. All right, Jonathan, your question. Frick, I'm so ticked off about that. Okay. What team does Cho Chang support? What Quidditch team?
The Tornadoes.
That is correct.
Nice.
Ding,
She's
ding, ding,
wearing
ding,
her
ding.
sky blue badge with the double gold T's.
Very good.
That was another potential. I was going to ask what color her badge was.
Fantastic. Well, it's all tied up now.
Huh?
All right, 11-11. After that, we're me and the world. We're neck and neck.
And neck.
Very good. And next week we'll have Jesse on for that showdown. So, but that's all the quizzes questions we have for this week, dear listeners. Future Barry will pop in right here to answer last week's question and give you next week's question as well.
Hello.
Future Barry here, just popping in to give you the answer for last week's Quizzitch question and to ask you this week's Quizzitch question. Your question last week, dear listeners, was what Quidditch team did the Quibbler claim was corruptly taking over the league? And if you answered the Touch Chill Tornadoes, well, you got it right. Congratulations. And if you got it wrong, better luck next time. Next time being right now. Your question this week, dear listeners, is what did Fred and George do to Kenneth Towler to cause him to erupt in boils? What did Fred and George do to Kenneth Towler to cause him to erupt in boils? That's the question for this week. If you want to answer that, you can write into theretoldpodcast@gmail.com or message me on Instagram at theretoldpodcast. And if you want to contribute to the Quizzitch section every single week and also get other cool bonuses for this podcast, well, you can by signing up at patreon.com/retoldpodcast. For just $3 a month, you can get special bonuses and perks such as what I just mentioned, like contributing to the Quizzitch section every single week. You also get our bonus episode every single month where Jesse and I cover the plot line to the Hogwarts Mystery Phone Game and cover all the lore that comes from that because that's full of cool lore stuff. You also get priority voting when it comes to new episode topics and polls that come out and so much more. And you can check all that out over at patreon.com/retoldpodcast. Anyway, let's get back to the show. Thank you, Future Barry.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we love him.
Inspiring.
That's great. Emily, do you want to say anything to Future Barry?
Thank you.
Original. I love the amount of thought put into that.
I think the answer was no.
All right. Well, now we've chit-chatted enough. Let's move on to our chapter coverage.
Yes.
Talking about chapters 11 and 12 of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Chapter 11 is titled, what's it titled?
The Sorting Hat's new song.
The Sorting Hat's new song. Okay. Harry is feeling a little weird about the horses that, you know, he said he could see, but nobody else can see. And he goes, I want to talk more about this, but I really don't want to let myself up in with Luna.
At least the crazy girl can see them.
I know, she's like, I'm going to let this go. They talk about Hagrid and, you know, Luna says, personally, I think he's a bit of a joke. And Ron's like, well, then you have a terrible sense of humor. And I love that she doesn't care.
Mhm.
And one of the things we pointed out in last week's episode, my guest Dan from Hogwarts Pod really kind of highlighted, seems like Luna potentially at this moment had an interest in Ron because, you know, she laughs really hard at his joke. She carries Pigwidgeon for him. Something else happened too, and here she's just staring at him, just stares at him for a very long time.
Aww.
So yeah, she's a little nervous around Ron, but they go up to the castle, head into the Great Hall, and I love like the first day of school vibes that we get because it said people are walking in and they're checking out everybody's haircut is even one of the lines that's mentioned. The kids are just whispering when Harry walks by and he gets a little self-conscious because he thinks that they're talking about him being crazy.
And they probably are.
Well, they could be, but I also thought, Harry, what if they're just talking about your haircut? You know? They're just like, look at that guy's haircut. Anyway, my note was Padma and Parvati were definitely talking about his haircut because they walk up to them and they both turn, and it says when they spoke to Harry, it said something like they were definitely just talking about him before he showed up is what it kind of
The
sounded
real
like.
question is, which is which?
Which is which? But oh yeah, I don't know why it's not Lavender. That's weird. You hardly ever see Padma and Parvati talking with one another. It's usually Padma and Lavender.
You would especially think they wouldn't be the ones talking to each other because they just spent the summer holidays together.
Yeah, I don't need you. Get going. I left the rest of my family behind. But they examine the teacher's table. They notice that Hagrid is missing and that Dolores is just whispering into Dumbledore's ear. My note was probably talking about Harry's haircut as well. Anyway, it's the Sorting Hat song time. Hey, that's kind of like the name of the chapter. So, Jonathan, as you walked into my house today, your phone auto-played and you were listening to the new audiobook. Emily still has not listened to the new audiobook. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
right in saying that. The Jim Dale version of this one smacks the crap out of the new audiobook version of this one. The new
Yeah.
audiobook version of this one is literally just slam poetry because Jim Dale has his little Scottish or Irish singing tone, like that comes across like that. And this one, he's just talking like this. and we need to be united, but instead we are divided.
Yeah, it's very intense
Yeah.
and not as, I mean, and I guess it fits the subject matter to some extent, where the Sorting Hat isn't being quite so silly this year. But yeah, I guess I did think that this doesn't really feel like the Sorting Hat. It feels like some person doing like intense spoken word something.
Just a guy up on stage, light on him, dim room, just some slam poetry. But he tells everybody that, he talks about like in his song how each founder taught. And really, when he gets to that part, only Hufflepuff comes across as a good person, because everybody's like, we're really prejudiced and we only like one kind of person. And Hufflepuff, I'm just going to teach people. And literally the line is, and treat them all the same. And I was like, good job. Good for you.
Way to go, Helga.
I know. It's almost like the normal thing to do. He also highlights, hey, this was really funny to me. He spends a good portion of the song talking about the history of those friendships between the four founders, how it got really bad. But then Slytherin left and things were all right. It was kind of just like, and then it just got better. It was like the kind of the anticlimactic vibe of that. Also, watch out for that Umbridge jerk is basically the conclusion of the like, if you're Umbridge in there, it can't mean anybody else but you whenever it says outside forces are like attempting to invade Hogwarts. I forget the line he says, but he's basically saying Hogwarts is being attacked from the outside or something like that.
External deadly foes.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's talking about Umbridge.
Oh,
I feel like that's certainly talking about Voldemort.
I think Umbridge has a greater impact in the ministry on the school this year than spoilers. But
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess like the Hogwarts specifically is maybe more in danger by Dolores than
But
Voldy.
she's not deadly foe.
Yeah,
She's not a
I
deadly
still
foe.
not
feel
deadly,
like this is
But
she's. I mean, I can't get into spoilers.
not
But
deadly, but
I feel like it is still a slight because it's something she and the ministry are trying to cover up anyway. So he's kind of like,
there's some
I'm going to
things
put this
that
in here.
she's already done that were pretty deadly, and then things that will happen that remove people, that kick them out. Think of what happens to certain teachers when they're being thrown out.
think about the spoilers.
Think about
Harry.
the spoilers. Pretty deadly. But listeners, write in. Let
I
us
feel
know
like
what you
that's
think.
100% Voldemort that he's alluding to.
Mhm.
I think you at least got to cut it. Give me some of the percentage.
99.9.
To 1.
0.01.
Wait, 99.9 to 0.01. Sorry.
Anyway, everyone at the end of the song, everyone just goes, "Yay! Doing good job, Sorting Hat." Nick gets all gossipy with them, just talking about, oh yeah, he always does this. He's up there just thinking about songs all throughout the year. You don't need to think anything of it though. McGonagall tells everyone to shush with just a look. I love that she's basically telling the ghost to shush. Like, it's not the students that is talking in that moment. It's Nearly Headless Nick, and he just like, ooh, he puts his fingers to his lap. My bad, McGonagall. Anyway, it's sorting time. Just 2 students are sorted, and they're sorted into which houses? Gryffindor.
And Hufflepuff.
That is correct. Ding, ding, ding. Half of our guests knew that in Quizzitch. Dumbledore tells them it's time to eat. I love, as always, he's like, this ain't the time for speeches, y'all.
Tuck in.
Tuck in. Put that on my tombstone. And he throws his beard over his shoulder. One thing that I noticed, it said that in the first book that when we first see Dumbledore on Privet Drive, that his beard is tucked into his belt so it doesn't get in the way and stuff. I have some of the older copies of the book that I was given recently, and I was looking at the back, and Dumbledore's on it with his beard tucked into his belt. And I've never actually tried to imagine that before. I always just picture the swishy beard. And I was like, oh, it looks kind of silly. A beard in the belt.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so beard over the shoulder.
It's not about style, it's about function.
Mhm.
That's true. It's like men at the urinal with their ties.
Yep.
You see them doing that?
Yep,
I
I
mean,
see them
you-
doing that.
I don't know why I looked at you when I said that. where am I in my notes? Hermione and Nick chit-chat a little bit about the hat. Nick says, yeah, nothing new. He does this all the time. Ron affronts Nick, as we were talking about in our this or that section. Nick's like, I never, because he's saying like, oh, you're just afraid of the Bloody Baron. He's like, I would never be me, Nicholas de Mimsy Porping's son.
Ton?
That was a controversial Quizzitch question answer a long time ago, and I can't remember. Anyway, the mouthful words when Ron is speaking in this text,
Yes.
I actually needed the audiobook's help with the second time that he speaks, because I was
How
like, what?
can it know
This
Skuzen danger is that?
I know.
Is
I
that-
did not know what he was saying, so I had to listen to the audiobook to be like, maybe I can decipher it from what he's attempting to say. And I was able to. Anyway, Dumbledore speech time. He says, just a few highlights. This is where I thought some of your Quizzitch questions would come in. He mentions that the forest is out of bounds for all the first years. Filch reminds him for the 462nd time.
Oh.
I would have gotten that. That there is no magic in the corridors. You would have?
I would not have.
Oh, okay. There are 2 staff changes, which are, do we know?
Dolores.
Grubbly Plank.
Grubbly Plank. He was about to start talking about Quidditch, but then that toad, Umbridge, interrupts him. Keira Knightley interrupts him because she's the voice actress for Umbridge in the new book. With her, she's just talking like this. Audio listeners can't see
They're
this.
all of me.
Teeth exposed. That should just be the Umbridge impersonation for this whole book.
Yeah.
We must prohibit what must be prohibited. Prune what needs to be pruning. But even the narrator insults her. Oh, why did I say that? The narrator. Oh, insults her height, because it says something like, we didn't even know she was standing because she's so daggum short.
Because
when she
the
stands.
difference between sitting and standing is...
What a burn! Dumbledore's chill about it, though. All the teachers, though, they're like, girl, if you bet not ever mess with Dumbledore while he's speaking. Even like Harry in his inner monologue thinks all of us students are in agreement. She has no idea how things work here. Like, you do not interrupt Dumbledore. Dumbledaddy. Anyway, she gives a speech, and I like Pravarti's burn, when she goes, I'll be her friend if she doesn't make me wear that cardigan. Sprout and McGonagall exchanging looks the whole time. Those gossipy gals.
Oh, my goodness.
What are they doing? And I wrote down, I'm basically the students during this. It's because Harry's like, they really tried to pay attention, but it like kind of gives us a snapshot of each student just eventually zoning out.
See, I feel like I was the opposite.
Yeah.
Where I was really honed in on everything because I think it's interesting. But we can talk about
it. Yeah, it is interesting in that, like, I wanted to pay attention because I know that those words do mean something, but also, like, man, I had my baby that I was taking care of, and I'm just taking notes, and I was like, can I just get to an more interesting section, Anyway, my note was, Jonathan, Emily, by the end, she had me. She inspired me. So, moving forward, when it comes to the pod, we will enter a new era of openness, effectiveness, and accountability on the Retold podcast.
Oh.
Wow.
All right. We will
perfect what needs to be perfected.
Perfect what needs perfected. We will.
I think I was out of order. Prune what needs to be pruned.
Well, no, don't. I saved that one. It was preserve what ought need be preserved. And we'll get pruny.
Okay.
We'll get pruny. That was so worth following my notes to a T over that.
We'll get pruny.
We'll get pruny.
Like when you take a bath for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Dumbledore claps. Not really anybody else though. Then he hits him with as I was saying, and he continues his talk. Hermione surmises the speech and just says the ministry is basically trying to interfere at Hogwarts, trying to butt in this year. Then Dumbledore dismisses everybody. Ron and Hermione are like, well, deuces, Harry. We got prefect's duty to do. I wrote, poor Harry. He's just trying to say hey to his underclassmen. I hated that moment. You know, when he sees the new student,
they're like,
Abercrombie. He sees Ewan Abercrombie, and he's like, he smiles.
and some
waves.
blonde boy whispers in his ear.
Little Draco incarnate, just bad mouthing him. Emily didn't like that. I insulted Draco just that.
Draco sucks.
That's it. The worst. Listen, I wrote some good fan fiction where he comes off really good. He still comes off pretty bad in those fanfics.
Yeah,
too.
sometimes.
Anyway, but yeah, I felt bad for Harry in that moment because it says like his smile slid off his face like stink sap. But he makes it up to the common room, and y'all, he doesn't know the password. Surprise of all surprises, though, Neville knows it for once. And Emily, what's the password?
Mimbulus Mimbletonia.
Mimbletonie. And he heads up to the dormitory. Dean's a little pot stirrer. That's my note
know.
here.
Really?
I
didn't
wrote
even
that down
get
as a
that.
favorite line because I'm like, this is wild.
Yeah, like they walk in. Harry's like, everybody, like, Dean, did you have a great summer? And he's like, oh, yeah, I had a great summer. You should talk to
Better than
Seamus over there. You should go talk. Like, Seamus knows, or Dean knows exactly what was just going down.
Yeah, that was wild. It's like, just leave it be. You don't have, you know what Seamus is going through. It's better if no one has this conversation.
And even
And
when,
this
like,
just goes under the rug.
it's so funny to me the way that Seamus like prepares himself for this conversation. You know, it's like when Arthur will take off his glasses and wipe them and then puts them back on to answer. He's sort of just takes a moment to gather himself, finishes putting up his poster of his Quidditch team, and then, well, Harry, as a matter of fact. So I just thought that was so funny though that Dean kind
Initiated.
of
Yes, that stuck out to me.
My next note is Seamus does suck here in this interaction. Because like a few notes on it, I hate, you know, he had the gall, as we like to say, the unmitigated gall to try to talk to Harry after insulting him. Because, you know, he says like, yeah, I believe that the prophet, whenever it calls you a liar and Dumbledore crazy. And then a few seconds go by. Harry decides not to like really respond to that. And he just gets back to his stuff. And then Seamus, after a few seconds of silence, is like, but if we just heard what actually happened. It's like, you just hit me with some fighting words, bro.
It's like, hey,
Yeah.
you're lying. So what's really the truth?
Tell me sweet lies. Harry, at this point, he's like, I made note when he put his wand down. He put it like on the bedside table, and he picks his wand back up. I'll have a go at anybody that calls me a liar. This is the other thing I hated about this. Seamus says two things. Don't you have a go at my mother and leave my mother out of this. And that always ticked me off because I was like, bro, you're the one who brought her up. You're like, you said, leave my mother out of this. You're the one that brought your mother into this by saying she calls Harry a liar. So it, you know, they say that mothers are off limits, you know, when you're like in an argument, especially as teenagers. But if you're the one that brought your mom into it to insult me, I felt Harry was on even ground.
It's fair game.
Yeah. So anyway, Ron comes in. He's got Harry's back. You know, he pulls rank on Seamus, where he just goes, listen, I'm a prefect, so you shut your Irish butt up, all right, you and your lying mama. And then Ron says anybody else's parents got a problem with Harry. And Dean just says, bro, I don't tell my parents anything. So no, they don't got a problem. Also, shout out to, I wrote Owlish Neville, because it says he pulls the covers up to his chin. He's just like, well, personally, my grandmom says the prophets are a load of rubbish. His eyes are all, I like that. But they all go to bed. And that's the end of the chapter. Yay!
Yeah, yay.
Moving on now, listeners, to our favorite lines. You were waiting for me to say the new name? I still haven't decided. What do we think? Incantations? Nobody liked that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it and I was like, oh, okay.
It works.
I feel like the problem
Wait,
is...
what was what you had before?
It was just favorite lines, and then there was chosen ones.
Yeah, the chosen ones.
Emily liked chosen ones.
I think I did like that.
Our chosies.
Our chosies? No.
The chosen one.
Our I was about to say toesies and lift my foot up to the camera. I'm not going to do that. No, our favorite lines for this week.
Favorite lines is just pretty.
It says what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it says what it is. But let's get to it. So, Jonathan, how about you lead us off? Lead off hitter.
Okay. I'm going into the Sorting Hat's song itself. I like this internal conflict that the Sorting Hat has. Though condemned I am to split you, still I worry that it's wrong. Though I must fulfill my duty and must quarter every year, still I wonder whether sorting may not bring the end I fear. Mm-hmm. I think that is an interesting, I don't know, like it's an interesting setup in Hogwarts just in general, that where there are these different groups, and then you think about how like Slytherin has gone off, but then there's still the Slytherin house,
Mm-hmm.
and there's just this conflict that exists that is sort of expanded by this house system where they're pitted against each other, and I just thought that was an interesting thing, especially coming from the Sorting Hat, where it's like, hey, this is my purpose. This is what I've got to do. But I want you to actually be united instead of being separated like I'm about to separate you.
The joke version of it was like that meme of, don't make me sing. Don't make me sing. I don't know if you've seen that.
Don't make me sort you.
I can't sort you.
I could never.
I couldn't do it. But obviously that's not the vibe that is coming out whenever he says that. It's like, this is my duty. I have to do it. But like, I don't know if it's the thing to do, because it's, you're creating problems. We've basically created Draco, worst student ever. Just kidding.
Worst student ever.
But yeah, even Dumbledore at one point says like, I fear that we sort too young is one of the things that he says. I forget when he says that, but anyway. So I had a great favorite line, Jonathan.
Thank you,
Emily.
This is something Ron says after Umbridge's speech. He says, that was about the dullest speech I've ever heard, and I grew up with Percy.
Oh, that is a
Silly.
good sing right there.
Yeah, he's good with those.
Oh, Ronald. One of the other jokes that I skipped over was, which teacher doesn't know how to ask a question? Or sorry, answer a question. Bridge?
Oh, yeah.
You said Umbridge, it made me think of it. Anyway, my favorite line, one of them is when Umbridge first gets up to speak. Listen, this is really brutal, but it is just like funny coming from Harry. Her voice was high-pitched, breathy, and little girlish, and again, Harry felt a powerful rush of dislike that he could not explain to himself. All he knew was that he loathed everything about her, from her stupid voice to her fluffy pink cardigan. Harry's like, I despise you.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what it is. Everything about you, I dislike. Your clothes, whack. The way he talks, hold your hand, whack. I don't even know all of them, but
Me? I'm chill as heck.
Good save. But that's one of my favorite lines. Jonathan, do you have another?
Yes, I do. In keeping with speeches, I do actually really like these lines that Professor Umbridge says, because I think they, I don't know, it's sort of interesting. So she says, without progress, there will be stagnation and decay. There again, progress for progress's sake must be discouraged, for our tried and tested traditions often require no tinkering. A balance then between old and new, between permanence and change, between tradition and innovation. And what I like about that is that I don't disagree with anything that she's saying.
It sounds very politician-y.
Mhm.
And it's but there's kind of an irony, because she's presenting this situation where she's like, well, we don't need to change things just to change things, because sometimes the way that things are being done is good. And if there's a reason to change things and we want to keep making things better, then yes, we should do that. But if things are working, we need to actually respect some of those traditions. Like, and there's some value to that. But what I think is the interesting irony here is that she's actually the one that is not respecting traditions, because the ministry has never interacted with the school in this way. And the headmasters have been the ones who have decided how things have been ran. And so she's sort of like presenting herself as this protector of tradition while doing the opposite. And I think that this was just a really well-written speech for the way that it is sort of politician-y, where it can go either way. And a lot of what you're saying, when you view it in isolation, it's palatable. There's truth in this, but the way that it is applied is not good at all.
The other thing I thought about it was it's almost, in my head, just a little bit, is something that doesn't even provide any good information. And what I mean is, like, these are all things that, like, you just they're commonsensical. Hey, let's not change things just to change it. Like, or let's keep what we should keep. Wow. What brilliant logic.
We should perfect.
You know, like sometimes I'll hear famous psychologists or just geniuses speak, and oftentimes, or psychologists or counselors, they'll speak, and I find it interesting. But when I boil down what they say, it's usually just what most healthy people do without the fancy words. Like they'll talk about, like, you know, like a mentally healthy person knows how to, you know, process emotions or get over this, like in a certain, all this stuff. And it's like a super fancy way of just saying, get over it, you know, or handle your business. And that's kind of what it gave me vibes of as you were talking about. It's like, yeah, that's all well and good. I didn't need you to say that, though. But like, to your point, she's saying it because she's kind of Trojan horsing herself.
Yeah,
you know?
and like there is wisdom to it, because I think a lot of times it is easy to just think that progress in and of itself, like change in and of itself, is beneficial. But like we have a tendency to look at things that happened before us and the way things used to be and judge them like we sit on this high horse where they were just stupid and didn't really know what's up. And now we at this time know how things should happen. And so I like that there is stuff in this speech that is actually valuable and interesting, but that it is given in this like politician-y way that's kind of saying nothing. And I think Hermione really did kind of sum it up well, is what did the speech mean? All it really means is that the ministry is going to shake things up and try to inflict their will on Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Because she didn't really say what she's going to do.
That's true. Not Jonathan. I know you. Emily.
My childhood.
Listeners, it's funny because that's her older brother's name.
Yeah. Mine are so like non-existential and clever.
That's okay.
I had those down and just didn't say them first, but it's okay.
I don't believe her.
They're right here. Okay, so this is a quote from Neville when they're talking in the boys' dormitories. And he says, "My gran says that's rubbish. She says it's the Daily Prophet that's going downhill, not Dumbledore. She's canceled our subscription. We believe Harry," he says simply. And I think it sticks out for me because we're seeing Neville slowly through these books come into himself and be someone who can feel comfortable piping up. And obviously this is amongst friends, but even in the past, he's been comfortable like talking back to...
It takes a great deal of courage to stand up to your enemies. Even more to stand up to your friends.
Exactly.
A great deal more.
I think he has a lot of development in this book too. And he starts to step into roles where we see that come in later books as well in his own bravery. I just love Neville.
I love Neville.
He's such a good boy.
And Matthew... What's that actor? It's Matthew something.
Oh, Matthew Lewis.
Matthew Lewis.
Yes.
We love him.
I think you stepped on the movie line rather than the book.
I did. No, I was hoping you wouldn't say anything. I'm going to say 2 quick favorite lines because they're short and both humorous. One, Hermione. First Harry goes, "Did it?" said Harry in surprise. "Sounded like a load of waffle to me." And then Hermione, "There was some important stuff hidden in that waffle." Hermione said grimly, "There was some important stuff hidden in that waffle." Just like
silly thing to say so seriously.
Out of context Harry Potter lines. Love that. And then the other one, Harry's talking about, or thinking about the new first years. "They did indeed seem very small. Harry was sure he had not appeared that young when he had arrived here." And I relate to that hard, especially as the school I went to growing up was 7th grade through, actually, I mean, it was even younger, but the 7th grade through seniors shared the same 2 buildings. And so whenever the new 7th graders would come in every single year, I'd be like, there was no way I looked like I skipped a grade. I was younger than you and I didn't look that young. So I relate a little bit to that line in particular. Jonathan, did you have another favorite line?
I mean, we already touched on it, but
Give it another
Dean
touch.
stirring the pot. He asks Harry how his summer was, and then he's like, "Yeah, mine was okay, better than Seamus's anyway. He was just telling me." This is like, "Oh, Seamus, you were just saying how your mom thinks Harry's a liar." Would you like to expand on that?
To do more, please. Seamus was just, sorry, Dean was just so bored at home with his Muggle family. He was like, everybody seemed to have a lot of fun gossiping with drama this summer. I'm just trying to make up for lost time.
Yeah.
Emily, did you have another?
No,
Cool.
nothing else from me.
Another humorous one. I love this a lot. When Ron comes into the room and everybody's yelling at each other, "He's having a go at my mother," Seamus yelled. "What?" said Ron. "Harry wouldn't do that. We met your mother. We liked her." "That's before she started believing every word the stinking Daily Prophet writes about me," said Harry at the top of his voice. "Oh," said Ron, comprehension dawning across his freckled face. "Oh, right."
I did like that.
Just him going, "Harry wouldn't do that." And then, that's the rub.
In this context,
Yeah,
Harry would.
Harry would,
Yeah.
yeah. Ooh. Backtrack. Jonathan, do you have any more?
No, that's all for the chapter.
I believe that was all I had as well. So there we go. That's all of our favorite lines. Moving on now, dear listeners, to our Transfiguration section, which are differences that the movies made from the books. First one, as usual, we'll highlight big omissions. The sorting is skipped in this book. You know, we begin, they get off the carriages, or I don't even think you really see them get off the carriages. They board the carriages, make it up to the castle, and then the next scene is like Dumbledore speaking, and then Umbridge interrupts him. So there's no sorting. The Umbridge speech is much shorter, and Dumbledore is like, in the book, he comes across as still very composed, and there's only a moment where he's caught off guard. It says like his face kind of faltered for a second, but then real quickly he snapped back to it. And I love these little Dumbledore lines of, it said, "And he looked at her as if what she had to say was the thing he wanted most to hear." Something like that. Like, yes, please, of course. But in the movie, Michael Gambon just goes, like, the look on his face is like, "What? Are you good?" He just has eyebrows raised, mouth kind of open the whole time, looking at her like, "You serious right now? You want to speak?" Okay, so there's a little bit of difference in how the Dumbledore is portrayed there. The confrontation with Seamus is in the common room in the movie, whereas in the book, it's upstairs in their dormitory. And yeah, that is all of the Transfigurations for this chapter. Not that many. Okay, just two and
And the big O.
And the big O. Right? Omission. I like it. Thank you for saving that. Moving on to
Auto parts. Sorry, I couldn't help.
Golden Snitches, little lore drops, tidbits and bits. I only have one for this chapter, and it is Umbridge's early years. So she said in her speech, like that she was glad to be back.
Yeah.
You know, she had been there
Did she go
before.
to Hogwarts as a student?
She did go to Hogwarts as a student. So I want to speak just a little bit about her early life, Hogwarts years, and then early ministry years. So I'll just read this real quick because it's the only golden snitch I have. Dolores Umbridge was the first child of a wizard named Orford Umbridge and a muggle named Eileen Cracknell. Her younger brother was a squib, but Dolores was a witch. Under her father's influence, she despised her muggle mother and her squib brother, considering them inferior to her and her father, and Dolores and her father denounced them. Before she was 15, Ellen and her son, oh, I hate when the Wikipedia moves. Before she was 15, Ellen and her son returned to the muggle world, never to be heard of again. So the house split up. At some point, she obtained her wand, made from birch and dragon heartstring, which with an unusually short length of only 8 inches. So this was a golden snitch for the next chapter, but I'll go ahead and say it here. Ollivander has said that abnormally short wands usually select those whose moral character has been stunted, not just because they are physically short. On turning 11...
Moral character has been stunted.
That's pretty big of an insult. 11 years old, she goes to Hogwarts. She sorted into Slytherin. Her head of house was Slughorn, although she never got along with Slughorn. Didn't have a good relationship with him. Slughorn even called her an idiotic woman that he never liked. He didn't say that about while she was at Hogwarts.
But later.
Yeah.
She didn't say that about an 11.
Yes. What an idiotic woman. She was never given any position of power as a student. She was never made prefect or head girl while she was there, and she never truly enjoyed her time as a student at Hogwarts. So the last few interesting things about her early years.
Does a woman like that ever enjoy anything?
No.
I thought you were just making like a sexist. Does a woman ever enjoy anything? But a woman like that.
Like that.
Yes. Women can't keep them happy. Am I right? You know what I'm saying, Emily?
If Dolores was your significant other, what pet name would you have for her?
Dodo. Dodo. What up, Dodo?
Umby.
Well, that might be. Oh,
Sweet
if you were
Ums.
married,
My sweet ums.
then that would be
My sweet ums.
My sweet Ums.
Oh, we found it. We
Okay,
found it.
okay.
Did you have one on the mind?
I don't know.
Is Dolores your secret crush? Is Dolores your fan favorite?
No, I am happily married.
Listen,
Hey.
doesn't stop everybody. After graduating from Hogwarts, Sweetums quickly rose to influential positions in the British Ministry of Magic. She started her political career as the intern to the improper use of magic office. Before she was 30, she became head of the office, evidence of her ruthless tactics under her sweet attitude, which also involved taking credit for other people's work.
Ooh,
Not
giving a
surprised.
little Lockhart vibe.
Yeah, more. First she's Sweetums, then she's sour. This set up the beginning of her dubious career as a ministry employee, one who tyrannized her subordinates while flattering her equals and her superiors. There's one more thing that I wanted to mention here about her dad. Her dad worked for the Department of Magical Maintenance, and he was a low-level worker while she was seeking a professional career. Under her pressure, he retired early, and she promised him a small monthly allowance in exchange for quietly leaving the public sight. So she was like ashamed of him not rising high. From that point on, she lied about her family, claiming that she was a pureblood rather than a half-blood. She eventually became senior undersecretary to the Ministry of Magic. But whenever people asked her, like, are you related to that Umbridge who used to mop the floors here? She would smile her sweetest laugh and deny any connection, claiming that her deceased father had been a distinguished member of the Wizengamot. Nasty things tended to happen to people who asked about Orford or anything about which she did not like talking. So,
Wow.
Whoa.
that's your stuff about Dolores' early life.
What are the sources? Is that just,
No,
I don't understand.
she actually wrote a piece about it. J.K.
Okay.
did a piece on Umbridge, and you can look that up.
On
It
old
came out in the
Dolly.
new Dolly. It came out in the new book that was put together of all her different HarryPotter.com essays and stuff.
Okay.
So anyway, that's all we got for chapter 11.
Not an admirable woman.
Not the poor Sweetums. All right.
Stunted.
I like
moral
Sweetums a
fiber.
lot. So stunted. So stunted. Chapter 12, Professor Umbridge. So there's some tension in the common room that morning. Hermione gets mad about the sign when they go downstairs.
Which I don't necessarily get.
Which part? The tension or the sign?
The sign. Why Hermione thinks it's so bad that the twins are advertising.
I think two reasons. One, they cover up an official school posting about the Hogsmeade
Yeah,
trip.
sure. I'm down with that.
And then the other one, what they are selling is not good for two reasons.
Yeah, like
in that
taking
it's
advantage
stuff-
of
taking
children.
advantage, and they were been explicitly told by their mother not to mess with that stuff.
Yeah.
And Hermione's, all like, but Molly
Listen
said,
to your mom.
yeah,
And they're asking for kids to be like test subjects,
Yeah.
essentially. So it's like it could be potentially dangerous and harmful.
My other potential question for you guys was the about the nosebleed nougat. I was going to say, like, which Wizard Weasley product was the one that made you continuously bleed? That they hadn't figured it out yet.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it's that kind of stuff that they're
Yeah,
advertising.
that's
and
true.
wanting
That's
to
fair.
sell.
That's fair. Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Get them banned.
I also wrote Ron doesn't seem too confident, whenever she's like, we need to confront them. He's like, yeah. And then my next note, Hermione puts Harry in his place. And I think this is the moment when they're walking all together and they say, like, yeah, Seamus was a butthole last night. And she goes, oh yeah, so was Lavender.
Mhm.
And then Harry's just, I did not like this Harry moment. I'm going to bat for Harry several times this book, but this is one of the ones where absolutely he was the butthole,
Yeah.
where he just goes, oh, so I bet you guys were having a lovely chat about what a liar I am. And Hermione goes, shut up. No, I literally was just telling you information and you already know where I stand on the matter.
Mhm.
You moody boy.
It would
Stop
be
it.
nice if you stopped jumping down our throats.
Exactly. So they chit chat about how they should be united, because they were what were they talking about? Something about being united.
The Sorting Hat song.
Did they bring up the Sorting Hat song again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and be like, oh, with the Slytherins?
That's right.
Absolutely not.
Mhm.
Never happening.
And I caught a discrepancy between my book and the audio book where something is said
Whoa.
differently.
Uh-oh.
Because I was reading along
Oh, no.
and listening at the same time.
Mhm.
In my book, Ron says Harry said it last night as a reply to her. But in the audiobook, he goes, Harry got it right last night. So, just so you know, a little bit of a difference there in that chapter. That might have been a golden snitch, but
Yeah, I see Harry got it right last night.
in yours?
Yeah.
Really?
Ah.
Mine says, and Harry said it last night.
Interesting.
Mm.
Well, this is the more British version.
That's probably what it is then. Because I think the audiobook is done from the British ones.
Oh. I wonder
Anyway,
why they would change that.
That is a weird
yeah, it's not
thing
much
to
of a
change.
slang, Anyway, they make it to the Great Hall. Angelina is the new Quidditch captain. Yay! She tells them that tryouts for the keeper are when?
Friday at 5 p.m.
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I hope that information carries you forward in life.
Yeah. I should
Anyway.
memorize that. Why didn't I?
It's mail time. Not for Harry, though. He doesn't get anything. Hedwig didn't show up.
Ugh.
But Hermione gets the profit.
What are you doing with the prophet, Hermione?
Because
dare
it's
you.
best to know what the enemy is thinking. When she said that, it reminded me of when Emily and I were in youth group. The boys and the fathers one day, Jonathan, your older brother, was there. We all went paintballing, and my dad was part of the event. My dad was like a special forces guy, and we were playing capture the flag in one paintball event. When you get hit with the paintball, if you don't know, listeners, you leave the area. You have to stand outside the netting. And me and deep into the match, almost everybody is out now. There's only a few people left. My dad is like the only person left. We were doing adults versus kids. My dad was one of the only people left for the adults against a sea of the teenagers. But he's winning. And we don't know how he's winning. He's getting up, he's shooting, and we see he doesn't have any bullets in his gun. He's literally just shooting air. We're like, he doesn't even have any ammo. And we're like, why is he faking like he's still got bullets left? He comes off, and we say that to him. We're like, Dad, you were just faking it. You didn't have any bullets. Why would you do that? And he goes, you never let the enemy know, son. And then he just keeps walking. So when Hermione said, you got to know what the enemy's thinking, that made me think of that. Anyway, McGonagall gives them their class schedule. It's not a fun one. Fred and George don't have an antidote. That was my other note. I'm blazing through this section. Fred and George, they said they don't have an antidote to the nosebleed nougats. Ooh. And I was like, how are they okay? You know,
what are they testing this on? Is it like
themselves?
Poor gnome is just bled out. That's what happened. They say that they will be doing some research their last year. This is where we get that famous line of, we weren't really made for, or like our future do not lie in the world of academic achievement. Mm-hmm. But we're just here this year. We weren't even thinking about coming back because we have what we need. Like technically, we got a whole lot of money. Shut up, boys. I mean, we're just here to do research.
We got our OWLs, which is interesting because it's pretty weak if they think that they're okay because they have their OWLs because they had those a year ago.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's not a great argument.
It's not a great argument.
Not the best on their feet. Fred makes them sound like drug dealers. Whenever he goes, Hermione, don't ask me no questions. I won't tell you no lies.
I was trying to, in the Quizzitch section, throw that line in, but I couldn't make it. I don't know.
Save it for next time.
Where you were going to ask me a question, I say, ask me no questions.
You know
I'll
what?
Tell you no lies.
You keep thinking about it. I think you're on again in 2 weeks, Jonathan. So Harry decided it was time to steer the conversation out of dangerous waters. I like that line whenever he was like, let's just move along now. They talk about their futures on their way to History of Magic. I'd enjoyed the moment where Ron goes, I don't know, I thought it'd be cool maybe to like be an Auror or something. Like, that'd be kind of cool. Hermione wants to be an activist. And I wrote down noble, but I don't think it pays well, girl. No. I don't think it's going to pay well. They suffer through History of Magic. They play a little hangman, and that sounds like fun. Hermione doesn't like it, though. She tries to say that she shouldn't give them her notes later, but Ron kind of smooths it over by buttering her up. It's like, but Hermione, you're so smart. You take the best notes. All right.
We just can't measure up.
We just can't do it. And there was a word that was said. I didn't know.
Mollified.
Mollified.
Yes,
she was mollified. That wasn't the word I didn't know. I knew what mollified meant.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Would have been it.
You're just cleverer than we are.
No, what? Hold on. We're going to pause the podcast. Anyway, listeners, I was wrong. I knew exactly. This is the part where I've edited to, so the listeners didn't hear any of that. I knew exactly what Hermione was talking about and every word she said. I am the dictionary.
Bridge.
They head out to the courtyard. And guess what? Cho comes up and talks to Harry. Ooh.
2 times.
That's right. 2 times. If anybody gets that reference. Yeah, me neither. Harry forgets that her boyfriend died. She plays it off well, though, where he's like, hey, did you have a great summer? And she's literally, you can kind of tell that she's just like, did you really ask me that question?
Well, he of all people should know. He's been fielding that question to
But she gets him all fuzzy inside.
He's like, all right, get over it.
Hags. Oh, my goodness. But I guess it would be Diggs. Did you have a good summer? I'm sorry, I'll edit that. But he forgets her boyfriend died. She does play it off well, though. She kind of moves past that. Ron calls her out for being a bandwagon fan for what team, Jonathan?
The Tornadoes.
The Tornadoes. I'm happier than a tornado in a trailer park.
You fair weather fan, get out of here.
That's right. We got so many references. Our listeners are like all over the place.
I wasn't even making a reference.
You didn't need to say that, Jonathan. I kind of knew you weren't, but I didn't want to skip over my reference.
Oh.
It's Cars, everybody. Ron and Hermione argue over true fandom. And I wrote, Ron should have brought up the Quibbler article. I don't know if you remember this, but there was an article in the Quibbler in the Luna Lovegood chapter that said that the Tornadoes were taking over the league through torture, bribery, and other forms of corruption.
Shameful.
He should have been like, Cho, have you read the Quibbler?
Do you know about this?
You read the Quibbler recently? I don't know how you could be a fan of the Tornadors after that. While they are waiting for potions, Harry has the thought, well, as bad as Ron and Neville are, Cho does seem like she's kind of over her dead boyfriend. You know, like she's come up and talked to me, which here's the thing, Harry, if a girl can get over her dead boyfriend that quickly, how quickly do you think she could get over? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Like, it's been months, bro.
You know?
I don't know. I will say.
But I am the chosen
I'll say.
one.
She was already sort of buttering it up last book.
Oh, she was
while
double
she had a
dipping.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry.
This was the
I
ultimate
really would have
case of
loved
like
to come with you."
you were trying to keep two options open,
Yeah.
and then one cancels on you,
Uh-huh.
and you're like, I just want to do this one all the time, you know?
Yeah.
That's definitely we're not making light of death. Snape then lets them Snape lets them know it might be their last year because they could be stupid. You know, he's like, if you don't get an OWL, a high OWL, you cannot proceed to my NEWTs.
And you will face my displeasure.
They get to making the draft of peace, which, listeners, you can bet is a golden snitch. Yeah. Not much of a lesson, though. You know, he says you have 90 minutes, go. He doesn't teach them a thing. He
wrote instructions on the board.
He puts directions on the board. My next note was, he forgot the Hellbore. So
2 drops.
So when he comes up to Harry, do you know... My paper's messing up the mic. Do you know how to read? Yes, I know how to read. Well, apparently not good enough, Harry. Well, it's all the vapors and stuff, but he forgot the Hellbore. Snape tells them...
See, that's actually something about Snape that's pretty cool. Like, he looks at Harry's potion, and he knows exactly what he did. It just shows that he is really quite a brilliant potion master.
He's like a gatekeeper, though, you know?
Well,
Of knowledge?
Kind of.
I feel like the problem is, it could be such a strength for actually teaching, but instead he kind of just uses it to tear them down.
It's like, I could help you out a lot. He could very easily go, and by the way, when you get to this step, it's easy to forget this one. Don't forget this one. If your potion starts to look like this, it means you forgot this one along the way. You know, there's none of that. That's what happens when you just put up the directions.
You can't read.
Oh.
Yeah. He gets a sick pleasure from their failure. But you know what? There's a lot of teachers out there like that.
There are a lot of teachers like that.
Shout out to all you Snapes out there.
Yeah, we love you. Holding it down. Anyway, Snape tells them to wrap it up. And I wrote, who is he going to test them all on? Because he says, bring me the draft of peace, and I will, it's for testing, is what he says specifically, for testing. And I was like, who are you testing it on? You know, like, what do you mean for testing? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Maybe he can just stir it around with his wand. And
he needs more Trevors, reproducing a bunch of toads, more Trevors to test on. At lunch, Harry loses his temper a bit, and he storms on out. Ron kind of confronts him when they meet back up later, and I wrote down, I agree with both of them. And I think here's why. Harry's absolutely right in that, like, y'all stop fighting all the time. But it's also the only reason he did snap is because he was taking his anger out on them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's both of them are correct in this instance. Anyway, and I also enjoyed the visual image of whenever Ron does go to see Harry in the divination classroom, it says Ron made like a direct line to him, and then it said, well, as direct as he could, weaving through all of the chairs and the tables, and I just enjoyed picturing Ron in my head going, and this way, and this way. I'm gonna get there. Harry, why'd you have to sit in the back? Anyway, it's divination time, and they got to interpret some dreams. Neville has a weird one, something about like scissors wearing his grandmother's hat. I think a giant pair of scissors wearing his grandmother's hat.
Yeah, it's pretty freaky.
Does that mean like he needs to, like he feels like his grandmother is cutting ties with him? Ooh, I don't know.
Cutting him.
Deep. They got to make a dream diary. my question, do you guys ever remember your dreams?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Clearly, that's why I'm writing a short story.
That's called a callback,
Callback.
listeners. The dreams I often remember are not usually good ones.
Yes, I feel like I remember my nightmares more.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I
Why.
think it's because it wakes you up.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think that I remember my dreams much more when I'm sleeping in than when I like wake up to an alarm.
I love
I don't
those.
know.
I love those moments when you can continue the dream.
Mm.
So like, there's a storyline going. You wake up. It's like it happened a lot when I was a kid on like Saturdays when I could sleep in. I was like,
Yeah.
well, then what happens?
Well, what happens
And I was
next?
sleep. I don't know. Like that happens to you guys, right? Or did
Yeah.
happen?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes it ended up morphing because like maybe my subconscious couldn't quite remember what was happening. So it's like, well, put this angle on it.
Yes.
But
I've had some
yeah, definitely.
wild, like crazy plot-driven dreams, which then you like want to remember every
Yes,
detail,
like, it's
and
so
then you're like,
cool.
well, actually, this doesn't really make sense in real life.
It's so abstract.
But
Yeah, it's like I critique stories a lot, and I thought that was so good of a story. But now that I'm following the through line, it wasn't that good of a story. Anyway, Scissors and Neville's grandmother's hat. Yeah, but they got to make a dream diary. Moving now to Defense Against the Dark Arts. When she introduces the class, I wrote down she pulled a "Are you ready?" You know, because
Like
it's more
WWE.
it's more like a I said, "Are you ready?" Because she goes, yeah, but she goes, "Good morning" or "Good afternoon," and they're all like, "Blah, blah, blah." She goes, "Let's do that again." So I just flashed back to like my VBS days of saying that to all the kids, like getting them hyped up when it was like,
yeah.
"How's it going, kids? Are y'all doing a good time or having a good time?" Yeah, I said, "Are you having a good time?" This class would be wildly different if Umbridge was like that when she goes,
yeah.
"Good afternoon," and they're like, "Good afternoon." She goes, "No. Let's hype it up,
come
y'all.
on, good
Come on." That's like Lockhart energy.
Yeah.
Are we having a good afternoon?
So something that I thought reading this section of
Mhm.
Dolores is this strikes me as her character. In the last chapter, she's giving the speech, and the way that it's described is like she's totally blissfully unaware of the fact that no one's paying attention to her. And even if there was a full-scale riot, she would just trudge on with her speech.
Yes.
Mhm.
And those two things kind of feel at odds with each other. It feels like if she's giving a speech and people aren't listening, she would be like, "Ahem," and demanding that attention. But I don't know. That was something that came to my mind.
I think she's more about like just getting the words out. And so, yes, some of the students aren't listening, but I'm going to get these words out. I'm going to say what needs to be said. And if you aren't paying attention, we'll leave you behind. Like when Hermione raises her hand, she's kind of like, I'm just going to ignore her because we have a job to do. She's more about the accomplishing of the task.
I feel like it's more
Kind of.
like power and control
Mhm.
because in that moment in the Great Hall, she's overtaking Dumbledore's speech in a way that kind of symbolizes the way the Ministry wants to take over Hogwarts. And then in the classroom, she wants full control over what the students are doing, how it's going to go, to the point where she doesn't even want to answer a question
So
or
it's-
entertain it.
Yeah, so power plays on the different people.
Yeah.
Like one
Yeah.
Dumbledore almost. I like that explanation. Yeah. Anything else on that?
No, that's fair. Yeah, I think with the power play angle, which is very much at play in the classroom, is definitely there with the speech. And then I think to actually allow interruption of her speech would be maybe to show more weakness rather than just like, well, she's going to trudge on.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if all the teachers think she shouldn't be talking. It doesn't matter if the students aren't paying attention. She's going to give her speech.
Because it's almost like that speech was more for the staff.
The staff.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the classroom. She tells them wands away, and I wrote boring. She says, "Y'all ain't have the best teachers, like, so you're kind of below standards." My note on this was, LOL. She says Harry's best class is their worst subject. Where she's like, honestly, you haven't learned that much in this one. And Harry's just like, this
That's
is
the
one
only thing I know.
I know. This is what I thought this is what I was good at. It's a reading day. Or is it? So Hermione has a question.
It's a hand-raising standoff.
It's a hand-raising stand. This town ain't big enough for it. This town ain't big enough for it. That's not I tried to do the teeth of Keira Knightley, and it...
This town, I can't do it.
This town ain't...
I don't think that's a good phrase.
Jack, this town isn't big enough, whatever. Hermione has a question, and the class watches this like standoff between the two. It's like kind of progresses as you know, she has her hand up for so long that everybody eventually stops reading and starts looking at either her or Umbridge. Finally, Umbridge calls on her. She's like, "Do you have a question, dear?" Hermione says, "Yeah, I got a problem with the syllabus, teacher. They ain't learning to use any spells." You know, she's like, "I got a problem with your class, like, objectives, that you're telling us that we're going to do. There's no learning of spells." To which, you know, one of you sitting here might think, well, why would they need to use spells? They're in a classroom.
They're in a classroom.
Space. Like, a perfectly safe space. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Like, it's kind of the vibe. And then I wrote, ahem, because it's defense against the dark arts. All right. What's the matter with you? That's why. So, as I turn my page, all the students question her for a bit. She casually throws in some racism for no reason.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was so just out of nowhere for me. Like, she's saying, like,
filthy half-breeds.
she was talking about what could be understood as a reasonable complaint. You know, if you disagreed with the teaching style. She's like, you've had some not up to scruff teachers. Like, you know, they just didn't teach you the material they needed to. And also, they were disgusting.
Filthy half-breed.
Chill, girl. That's crazy. I thought you were sweet arms. Well, that's all I know. So I did write, she kind of had a point about Moody, though. You know,
Yeah, but they learned a lot.
They did learn a lot. And I wrote, Parvati also has a point. And then I wrote, serve return. Why did I write Parvati had a point? Oh, because she was saying, you're telling me that the only time we're going to use this, the very first time we use these spells is during the OWL? That's wild. You know what I'm saying?
I would be freaking out. I'd be like, all right,
Well, as long
this
as
isn't gonna work.
Studied the theory.
I don't think so,
I don't think
sweetums.
so.
So Umbridge's whole argument, I also thought this was ridiculous. Her whole argument that, like, who would want to attack children? Nobody wants to attack children. I was like, even if Voldemort weren't a thing, you should still, like, be teaching these. Like, there are people out there that want to do that. So let's protect these kiddos. All right, you're not doing a good job.
The ministry will keep you safe.
Big brother.
There is no war in Bossing.
There is. No... Anyway, I respect you even more.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, Harry earns himself a detention, and y'all, that ain't good enough for Harry. You know, he brings up Cedric at this point. So I guess you think Cedric Diggory dropped out of his own accord. And she sends him to McGonagall with a parchment, one that he can't open. I like that she added that note of, like, you can't even open this if you wanted to.
Control.
That's true. We see it. We get a fun little Peeves cameo, and I wrote down, I liked the audiobook version of him singing when he was singing about a crazy Harry Potter, and I don't have the lines in front of me, but the Sorting Hat one, not so good, but the Peeves song, very good, very sing-songy, and exactly how I would expect Peeves to deliver it.
Yeah, and I love the Harry's reactions in that, where it's like, I don't have time for this silliness. But, you know, there's the people that are just relentlessly silly, and sometimes I'm not in the mood for
I'm
this.
always for silly, is what Peeves says. And Harry's like, leave me alone, and he's running away down the stairs. Just stop it. Anyway, we get the iconic lines from McGonagall here.
Yes.
So she's a bit frustrated, but then we have have a biscuit, Potter. Woo!
The best line ever.
This is very much a moment of, you can kind of just picture McGonagall being like pouring the glass of brandy, lighting the cig. Have a biscuit, Potter. Like, this is crazy what we're talking about. Like, oh boy, let's talk about it. Harry, you can't be doing all this. And that's kind of the attitude that she has going into this, saying, like, Potter, use your common sense. This is Umbridge. It doesn't matter if you're 100% right. You know what she's here for. You know what she's about. Don't be stupid, boy, and have a biscuit. make everything better. And that's basically the end of the chapter.
I do think that she really gives Harry very little credit at the end of this when Harry's like, well, it means that she's defending. I mean, oh goodness, it means that the Ministry is interfering at Hogwarts, and like McGonagall just thinks there's no way that Harry could have listened to that and come up with that idea himself. That had to have originated from Hermione.
Glad you listened. To be fair, he doesn't exactly like state it confidently.
Yeah,
it's kind of like he's remembering
what she said.
a summary. He doesn't remember the report. He doesn't remember the book. He's remembering the Spark Notes.
Yeah.
That's fair, but I don't know. I just feel like that makes sense from us as a reader to be like have that callback. But if McGonagall never heard Hermione say that,
I would argue,
I think that's pretty bold to be like, well, at least you're listening to your friend who can put 2 and 2 together.
I would,
you idiot.
So Bailey sometimes will talk about like with when students turn in essays. She's like, I can tell like by the end of the year, you know, if the student actually wrote that essay. You know, I can tell if they copied a friend. And then she can always like, she doesn't even need to be with them that long to know like that's AI. Because that has its own markers. But I say all that to say, McGonagall's been his teacher for, this is now the 5th year. She knows Harry's writing style and the way he speaks. She knows Hermione's writing style and the way he speaks or she speaks and the things they retain in the classroom.
That's fair.
So that would be the retort, I guess.
Okay.
But anyway,
Sustained.
So she kicks him out, and that's the end of the chapter. Yay! Moving on now, dear listeners, to our favorite lines. Not incantations. That's just stupid. I only have 2
What
favorite
does
ones.
chosen ones even refer to?
This chapter was long.
It was.
Okay, I have only 2 favorite lines. Emily, you go first.
Me, yay. So I mean, I gotta call out the most iconic one right off the bat. I'll just read it. Is it true that you shouted at Professor Umbridge? This is McGonagall. Yes, said Harry. You called her a liar? Yes. You told her he who must not be named is back? Yes. Professor McGonagall sat down behind her desk, frowning at Harry. Then she said, have a biscuit, Potter. Have what? He's so ready to get yelled at. And then I like how later on too that I'll like conjoin these after they're kind of like discussing. She's like, have another biscuit, she said irritably, thrusting the tin at him. No thanks, said Harry coldly. Don't be ridiculous, she snapped. He took one. Thanks.
I love that. I kind of read it more like in my head. Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Don't be ridiculous.
Have a biscuit.
I feel like they're
that's
like,
just stupid. No, you know, you need a biscuit.
this is like almost like mom and son. Like so like she doesn't take like a full maternal role with him, but sometimes she like steps into it like with one foot and she'll be like, eat a biscuit. Like don't be silly, just eat it.
And what makes that part even funnier is that elementary school aged Barry, when he was reading this, thought it was like American Southern biscuits. Like
that's how I picture like a plate full of like biscuits and gravy.
She's just a breakfast all day kind of gal, you know? So that's what I remember picturing whenever I first read this. I did not know.
What kind of biscuit was it?
It's like a British.
Oh no, he's asking what we envision.
Oh
No.
Oh no.
I'm
Like what
asking
it
what the
actually
book
is.
says.
Are
technically,
they like?
it just says. Oh no, she mentions a specific kind, doesn't she?
It says he helped himself to a.
That could have been a quiz question.
I was going to. I would have one of my
treacle tart.
A ginger newt.
A ginger newt.
I think
have
we
no
were
idea
like,
what that is.
we read that and we're like, nah.
No, biscuit.
It's
Have
biscuit.
a biscuit.
I mean, there's so many different kind of Southern biscuits. You know, freaking Bojangles got like 10.
Oh, the Bowberry biscuit.
The Bowberry.
So good.
Okay, when you pull up to Bojangles and you're planning on ordering a Bowberry biscuit, the music to my ears is it okay if it's going to take 5 minutes to get you that Bowberry biscuit? That is exactly what you want to hear, because otherwise you're getting some crusty piece of nonsense that's been sitting there for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But if they make you wait, ooh,
All of our
that comes out warm.
Fresh.
Ooh,
Dude,
yeah.
my non-American listeners are just like, what are they talking about? But very good. Yes, one of those was my favorite lines as well. I took the second one of those, so very good. I will say this for mine then. So this is my only one of the chapter. Harry could not remember Hermione ever neglecting to read when instructed to, or indeed resisting the temptation to open any book that came under her nose. So I thought that was quite humorous and worth saying. Jonathan, what's your favorite line?
This one's pretty good. So Ron says, anyways, I've always thought Dumbledore was cracked to trust Snape. Where's the evidence he ever really stopped working for you-know-who? I think Dumbledore's probably got plenty of evidence, even if he doesn't share it with you, Ron, snapped Hermione.
That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like teenagers, like, you don't think Dumbledore has his reason? So that, yeah.
Yeah,
what
like he thinks you have this self-importance that like you should be privy to all of the knowledge, and then if it's not there, it's like, well, must not exist if I don't know about it.
Then obviously nothing's to know.
Mm.
The other thing I thought while reading that was now the slang for cracked, at least one of them is like, you're very good at something. So when like kids in my youth group, they'll say like, oh, he's this sounds like such a dumb sentence. He's cracked at Fortnite. Like, you know, like it means he's very good. Like if you're cracked at something, that's what that, there's also more definitions, but that's the most relevant one. Anyway, did you, either of you have more favorite lines?
I have one. It's a Snape line because,
Oh,
you know, moronic though some of this class undoubtedly are, I expect you to scrape an acceptable in your owl, or suffer my displeasure. His gaze lingered this time upon Neville, who gulped. Poor Neville. They have like a special hatred bond. Like with Harry, it's like understandable in a way. Like you kind of know, but with Neville, it's like you just like to pick on this kid, like for no reason.
I need my pick me up. Neville, come here. It's like it's
Get
like
over here.
The guy that comes home and kicks his dog. You know, that's the relationship.
just to make himself feel better.
Yeah.
Hey, you're incompetent. Oh.
He's the dog that Snape kicks. Jonathan, did you have another one?
Yes. Professor Umbridge talked over him. I do not wish to criticize the way things have been run in this school, she said in an unconvincing smile, stretching her wide mouth, and then proceeds to criticize because that's exactly what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought there was good irony in that. It was pretty silly. Also, I think British people spell criticize differently.
Oh,
yeah.
How is it spelled?
It's spelled with an S instead of a Z.
Criticized. What page is that on?
Well,
Like they're gonna match
I don't
up.
know.
I don't. My font is. Oh.
But yeah, I typed it out to make a note of it being a favorite line, and it like auto-corrected the word. I said I typed it verbatim.
Well, any more favorite lines?
We can call them honorable mentions, but Hermione's moment earlier when she talks about Lavender and she's like, hey, I actually told her to shut up, and so you can stop jumping down our throats.
You can stop being a jargon.
And that's not
the first thing you could do. That's all. That's about what she said. It's the new audiobook version.
And then how she buttered, how Ron buttered her up and was just saying, oh,
and she was mollified.
Yeah, and then she was like, okay. She wasn't having any of it, but she was kind of having some.
We can put a pin in it. We can leave it here. Well then, moving on now, dear. Did you have any more?
Nope.
Moving on now, dear listeners, to our Transfiguration section. Differences that the movies made from the books. First one, Fred and George in the book are the ones to introduce the concept of OWLs this chapter. Whereas in the movie, it's Umbridge. She walks into the classroom and she's using magic to make it right on the board. OWLs. So she's the one that says it. Also, they omit history of magic, the potions lesson, and divination class on that first day. The first class that they go to from like the interaction with Seamus is Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Mm-hmm.
Is this day not extremely more loaded than any day has ever felt as far as their schedule? I feel like they've never had multiple classes that have double and two others? That's a stacked day.
Yeah.
I know they had like double potions. I believe they did, and then they went to that Care of Magical Creatures class, and like divination was that morning too. But that was the one where Malfoy gets slashed. They've had some busy, but
I don't know.
But even still,
it struck me.
You're correct in that. Like Fred or George is the one that says this has to be the worst Monday I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know. So that's another movie change. Another one that I have is that in the movie, Umbridge shouts out Quirrell. You know, when she's going, "You've had some bad teachers." Quirrell was okay. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, remember that guy who was absolutely possessed?
Well, and that Harry says, yeah, other than the fact that he had Voldemort on the back of his head, and that's when Umbridge loses it at him. So that's a different like interaction that isn't said in the book. The other one is that in that scene, you know, Dean and Parvati speak up in the book, but they don't in the movie. They're just quiet. It's only Ron, Hermione, and Harry that
Because
speak.
they're the only ones who need to be characterized.
That's right.
and developed.
Although the scene opens up with, so they have Parvati and Padma in the same class and both in Gryffindor in the movies. And the way that the scene is introduced is that there's like a flying dragon, like origami paper dragon that is going around the room
Mhm.
and Umbridge burns it. And it's their origami dragon, like falls right in front of them. And they're like, oh. So they get that little shout out.
Yeah.
Dolores gives them their books, you know, from Slinkhard, from Slink. So this whole time, like they even talk about it in the earlier chapters. There's a moment when Fred and George come in and they go at Grimmauld Place, who do you think addressed us the Slinkhard book that we had to get, assigned us the Slinkhard book, and they all go and buy those ahead of time. That's why Hermione's like able to read it all ahead of time. But in the movie, there's like stacks of it on Umbridge's desk, and she levitates them, and they go throughout and they disperse to each student's desk.
How kind.
Right?
I mean, wow.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, we do not get Have a Biscuit Potter. We don't get, she does, when she gives detention to Harry, the scene kind of ends there. But in the book, she dismisses him to go have a biscuit.
Have a biscuit.
And that's all the Transfigurations.
That is an awesome one.
Mm-hmm. That's all the Transfigurations for that chapter. Moving on now to our golden snitches, behind the scenes, lords,
Tittles and biddles.
Tittles and biddles. So my first one, this is a little fun fact for you. I had a listener write in and say that they had a plot hole. And this is like a legitimate error in the books. And it's that and once you say it, it sounds so dumb that you never realize this. It makes it sound like school always begins on a Monday. But September 2nd can't be a Monday every year. It changes. And so September 2nd, because, you know, back to Hogwarts Day is September 1st. And George even says that has to be the worst Monday. But September 2nd of 1995 was a Saturday, not a Monday.
Goodness.
Huh.
So it's interesting that that it's always played off like the next day after the feast is a school day, even though we know canonically that they don't have classes on weekends. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair.
that's crazy.
You can't have both. It can't always be a Sunday then Monday, and it can't always be the first and second.
Maybe it's just
Either or.
Magic. They've
They've
finagled the time.
altered the calendar.
Mm-hmm. My other ones that I had, so I had both of these written down, but you'll see a theme throughout the rest of these golden snitches, and that I wrote them down, looked them up, and there was not much to say.
Mhm.
But OWLs and NEWTs. So we've heard of we've heard of owls before, OWLs, and we don't learn much like new. They kind of and even on the wiki, there's not much new that's said about it. Basically, it is the testing that you take in your 5th year of Hogwarts to determine whether or not you can take that subject further on. Like if you, and I think the one thing I did want to say is the grading system. So like, do you guys remember off the top of your heads what the different grades were?
Isn't it like extraordinary?
No.
Outstanding.
It's not based on OW. Like it's not.
I know there's an E.
Why doesn't this
Acceptable.
So O is
acceptable.
Yeah, but that's not E.
Okay.
That's A.
Fair enough.
That's
fair
A.
enough.
I know. Okay.
So I'll give you it's OEA are passing grades and PDT are failing grades.
Exceptional.
Exceeds expectations.
Exceeds expectations.
That is the middle one. So the highest
It's
one is
outstanding,
O, outstanding.
Right? Yeah.
E, exceeds expectations. You already got the other one. A,
Acceptable.
acceptable. But the funny one are the PDT. So P is
Poor.
poor. D is
Dismal.
Dismal.
dreadful.
Dreadful.
And T is troll.
Oh yeah.
How
Oh
offensive
my
to
gosh.
trolls.
Yeah.
But T is troll. And it's the same for both systems for your OWLs and your NEWTs.
Mhm.
And the word can also be referred to for both of them. An OWL can refer to the test and the class itself. Like I'm taking an OWL level course. And then the same thing for NEWT. It's referred to the class and the test as well. So that's basically all that there is. And NEWT stands for nastily exhausting wizarding testing. And then the S is just the plural form. It doesn't get its own thing. So there you go. Those OWL and NEWTs. The other one that I had was Giant Wars, because when they were in History of Magic, Harry even thinks, wow, this subject actually could have been interesting in the hands of a different teacher. Well, not really, Harry, because when you look up on the wiki, all it says was that moment in that chapter talking about this is something that Professor Binns taught on.
It happened sometime.
Yeah, it happened, apparently. The other one that I had was the Draft of Peace, which, so, again, I feel so silly this time. Like this chapter with all of these golden snitches, it's basically what we learned in the chapter. However, I'll say they had a funny joke at one point. It lists a bunch of the ingredients that are actually included in it. You know, someone mentioned here. You got
Does it include moonstone? Or is that just a totally irrelevant
powdered
homework?
moonstone?
Okay.
Powdered moonstone, syrup of hellebore, stewed mandrake, powdered unicorn horn, powdered porcupine quills, and standard potioning water. But they had a joke on the wiki that I thought was kind of funny. It said it was ironically a difficult potion to make, given that its name is the Draft of Peace. And when you brew it wrong, it could make somebody sleep forever. So,
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
but that's said in the chapter, so it's
Yeah.
like, all right. And so there you go. That's it.
Those are more like bronze snitches.
Or silver. Some of them are interesting.
Or just participation snitches.
Yeah.
The other one that I had was the Dream Oracle by
Inigo Imago.
I
I was ready for that one.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I knew you would be. You know what it says? Inigo Imago wrote the Dream Oracle, a book about dreams.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's about all it's.
So
That's
in case you
crazy.
Missed that. in
the
story.
average fan might not know.
Yeah. And the last one I had was it was a note on short wands, but we already
Yeah.
about to have a previous one. So really, just the fun fact of September 2nd this year was not a Monday. And that's all we have for Golden Snitches.
Yeah.
And that covers the main bulk of our episode. I'm so sorry. I cut across your yay. Go ahead. Give me a yay.
Yay!
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. Yeah. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
That covers the main bulk of our episode, dear listeners. Thank you so much for listening. If you do not want to be spoiled, well, you need to get out of here. All right. If you haven't read ahead, then this is the part where you need to leave. Unless you're just a kooky kid and you don't care about spoilers. Only freaks are like that. I didn't Google everything that happened in the new Spider-Man movie. Anyway, so goodbye, listeners. Hope to see you next week. Jessie will be on that one. She says she misses you. Sorry she couldn't make it for this Founders episode. But all that being said, moving in to the restricted section, also known as the Department of Mysteries.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I had just one. I only have one restricted section for this one. So, and it's that when Ron asks Harry about his dream of playing Quidditch, if you remember that they're in divination and Ron goes, I think I had a dream about me playing Quidditch. I interpreted that as Ron saying it kind of like that of, I kind of had a dream of I was playing Quidditch. What do you think about that, Harry? Because we know he wants to try out for the team this year. He asked for the broom, and later he like goes to practice by himself. He wants to try out for the team. I think that was him gauging Harry's reaction to see like if Harry would go, "Oh, that's so silly. That like, why would you have a dream about that?" Versus like, "Oh, that'd be cool. That's not. Was it a cool dream?" Harry does neither though. He says, kind of absorbed in himself.
You're gonna be eaten by a marshmallow.
Yeah,
probably.
Potential
must be
question.
what it means.
So that was really all I had for a restricted section. That little spoiler about that. Everything else, I feel like I kind of that might have stirred it in me. I had mentioned already in other restricted sections, but were there things that you guys wanted to talk about?
I want to correct my previous statement about Neville and Snape because like 2 seconds later I was like, wait, I feel like Snape actually does resent Neville for a real reason, and it's because he was the other possible baby. And he maybe feels like if Neville had been chosen instead of Harry, Lily would still be alive.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was like a theory we talked about on that like ranking theories episode, and I think I support that one. That it's because like if it weren't for you, you know, which is really dumb because it's like Snape, if it weren't for you telling Voldemort the prophecy, like what are you talking about? And who's to say that like
he's not a stranger to self-hatred.
That's fair. That's fair. And who's to say though that like freaking Lily and James wouldn't have ended up like
like Neville's parents.
Because apparently Neville's parents were some bosses, you know?
Neville's also incompetent, at least in potions, and Snape also hates incompetence.
Yeah.
So
but good correction. I thought about that at the same time too, but I was like, again, spoiler stuff, so I didn't want to mention that too much.
I have to save it.
Yeah.
I can't say it now.
Anything else?
Yeah, I don't know. Not too much of this really. It's kind of just setting up the school year, setting up how things are going to be. Obviously, Dolores sucks and is actually going to be interfering at school progressively.
She's a tinkerer.
Yeah.
Little Sweetums just be tinkering.
Old Dolly Sweetums.
I think there's like a nod to the twins because we've been introduced to Umbridge and how she is, and then the twins also in these 2 chapters are like, academics aren't really our focus, so you know, like they're willing to kind of do anything this year.
That's a transfiguration I didn't mention because they deliver that line right here in the book. But in the movie, it's right before they
do that.
They shoot off the fireworks.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to comfort that one kid who has the scar on his hand, and they're like, it stops hurting after a while. Don't even worry about it. And then she comes over and she's like, that's what you get, Potter. Bad boys deserve to be punished. And then she walks away, and Harry's like, I can't stand that woman. And then Fred and George get up and they go, you know, I never thought our futures lied in the world of academic achievement. You know what the line is.
Yeah.
I knew you thought it when I said it, but
I'm
anyway.
Here to just poke holes on you.
Not just, but it is part of
that
the
is
role.
one of my roles. Fair.
But that's all we got, dear listeners. So thank you very much for listening this week. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Anything you two want to plug? Usually don't, but I haven't asked in a minute.
Yeah.
No plugs.
The Patreon.
Subscribe.
How about this? Let me plug Retold.
Well, I do plug the Patreon. I do it now in the when I answer the Quizzitch question for the week. I do it in that part. So, listeners, you've already heard that, but you should just $3 a month. You know, it ain't nothing. All right, you can buy Skittles with that. That's nice though. Anyway,
maybe 2 packs of Skittles.
2 packs. It depends on how big they are. I don't care how big they are. Anyway, goodbye, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Bye. Click. Thank you for listening to Retold. Artwork for this podcast was created by Rachel Ortlip. Music was created by Taylor Jarvis. And the Retold podcast is produced by me. That's right. I made this.